Okay, today we're going to be painting the dragon's claw in watercolor. I'm using a 1/2 inch Stratford and York jet brush, and I'm painting the first layer, the undercoating painting, with raw sienna. So I'm going to be doing the whole claw in raw sienna first, and we start with the arm and then or leg, whichever. And then we're going out to the fingers or toes, depending on whether it's an arm or a leg. And right now it looks pretty bland, but we'll be going back and giving it a 3D look. Now I've got a fairly light drawing there. I'm pretty sure you can see it. And I have a video out on the drawing of the dragon claw and just using it with pencil and creating the 3D look. And now we're going to do this same 3D look. This actually is the same claw in watercolor here. And now we're doing the foreshortening technique here on that middle claw to give it the look that it's coming out at you. And now we're going in with the there, we got that all in. Gonna do a little touch up here before we start our next color. We're only going to be using 3 colors in this painting of the claw. The raw sienna for the base. Then we're going to go back over with burnt umber to create the 3D and shadows. And then the claws itself, now we're going back in with the burnt umber, and I'm using a number 6 round, and you'll notice that I'm doing the strokes in a round motion, and I'm going dark paint, and then I'm putting a little water over top uh, to lighten the color to give it a 3D look. Now we're going to go back in again with the next layer on there. Now each time it's going to be a little bit lighter so we can get this to get a 3D look on it. And once I get the toes or fingers painted, it's going to start, we're going to go into a time lapse, and I'll be painting the leg similar way. And it's the only reason I'm doing that is it's pretty boring watching me paint the same strokes over and over again. And once you get the basic idea, you can just watch how I do it, and you'll see the 3D look being created. Now we're putting to create the texture for the toes. Oh, we got this one's more in the light than in the other one, so it's not going to have as much dark color to it. And you'll see that how I do that a little bit differently there. I'm pulling down from the top just to get a few of the lines let's go to create the shape of the toe. And then we're going in and going up to the leg. And there we go. Do some final touch up on the one on the left. We got a pretty good three-dimensional look there to it. Now we go into the arm of the leg. Now I switch to a larger round brush because we're painting a larger shape. Always use the tool that's the easiest for what you're trying to accomplish. I'm using a round brush because of the strokes required. I like the feel of that one. And we have to move rather quickly. Now I'm doing this in time lapse, so it's going a little faster here. And it's not that much faster. It's only like 1.5 times what I normally do, so it's half again as fast as I normally paint. But it's necessary because it's pretty boring watching you paint the same strokes over and over again. And what we're doing is we're just creating the curve of the arm or the leg, whichever, and you use the curved strokes now because even in watercolors, even after it dries, you will be able to see a lot of those brush strokes, and that will create the 3D effect by using curved strokes. Now we have one toe left to do, and that's the back one. I'm going to do some touch-ups here. Accidentally here. I bumped the board there. Now, this one's going to be a little darker because it's in the back. And I'm just curving that out. Now I'm leaving a little bit on top that's lit up. So it's a little lighter there. Now we're going to pull that down so you can see the curve there. And now we're going to go in and start on the claws. Now here's where we go, Payne's Gray. Now the Payne's Gray we're using, it's practically straight out of the tube to get it. There's hardly any water to it because we want it extremely dark. And we'll be leaving a little bit of a highlight on the claws, which you just paint around the highlight you want and use the white of the paper to actually create the highlight itself. So the nice thing about watercolors, you don't have to go back and paint a highlight in. So you just figure out where you want your highlight, and then we'll now this is back in real time, so you're actually seeing how I create the highlight in real time. And that also helps to create the illusion of the three-dimensional look to it. And then we go in and we're on the second one. Now we're going to have to get in there. Okay. And we have to move fairly quickly because if we wait too long, here, now we're going into time lapse here because we're doing the same strokes again. And we just want to make sure that we get the highlight left in there. And then that's the second one. Now the third one we'll put over here. We got the highlight a little bit down lower because of the way the angle that the light is hitting it. It's hitting it more towards the middle of the light or the claw. So you'll see how that changes where the highlight is. But that gives it the 3D look. And we'll just be painting here. And I've switched to a smaller brush here. And then all we have left is the back toe to do, or the back claw. And then we'll be done with our painting. And we're finishing it up here real quick. And that's how you get your dragon's claw painted in watercolor.